Kshama Sawant is with us, a member of the Seattle City Council, leader of the 15 Now campaign, the Socialist Party member, seattle.gov/council/Sawant, S-A-W-A-N-T. And the K is silent in Kshama's name. Anybody ever draw parallels between that and Django?
I don't think so, not yet.
That was such a great line where he goes, the D is silent,
And in reality, the K is not actually silent, but I say that because it makes everybody's life easier.
Okay.
Otherwise.
Okay.
And also another clarification, I'm a member of Socialist Alternative, not Socialist Party.
Oh, okay. Socialist Alternative. Thank you very much. Kshama, or Kshama, tell us what's up. What's going on with the 15 Now campaign?
So what has happened today in Seattle, the Seattle City Council's Committee on Income Inequality and Minimum Wage has just passed out of its committee to vote for a $15 an hour minimum wage for all the 100,000 workers in this city who are at low wages. This is absolutely historic.
Wow.
On Monday, June 2nd, the full council will be meeting. The bill has gone to the full council. I expect it to be voted on and passed as law. This is absolutely incredible. And what's incredible about this is, one, the pace at which this has happened. Remember, we ran our campaign last year, a socialist campaign for city council demanding $15 an hour. Fast food workers in Manhattan walked out in fall of 2012, and it's been less than 2 years since then that we've won this. This is record speed for winning a major social change. And this has happened because it was led by workers, by the working class movement, by the 15 Now grassroots campaign, by the labor movement. This is a great time for all of us to remember that social change happens not because of the largesse of the political elite under capitalism, but because when we go out and demand it.
Yeah, I am totally with you. And first question, does this apply to tipped workers as well?
Yes, it applies to all workers. And that's also, an absolutely the step in the right direction. But I also want to clarify that the other city council members, who are representing business, they have managed to pass corporate loopholes like a temporary tip credit, meaning, temporarily, at least during the phase-in period, tipped workers will have to make up for their full wages with their tips. But, we were arguing to not have any tip credit at all. And the reason some of these corporate loopholes went through despite the movement is that, is basically because, business really was brought to the table by the Democratic Party. The movement brought 15 to the table. The Democratic Party establishment brought business to the table, who succeeded in watering it down. And the lesson we should take from this is twofold. One, this is an unambiguous victory for the strength of the working class, and we should feel so empowered and take the message of 15 Now all over the country. And second, if we want to make sure to eliminate corporate loopholes, then the movement has to be strong enough to overcome the counterattacks from business. It's all the result of a balance of forces. So if we want to succeed, we have to build our forces.
I am absolutely with you. You represent to me a conundrum. A bit of a riddle, and I wanted to share this thought with you and get your thoughts on it. I publicly have been dismissive relatively over the years of the great man theory of history, that if this person hadn't come along, that wouldn't have happened. If Franklin Roosevelt hadn't been there, there wouldn't have been the New Deal. If Gandhi hadn't come along, India would not be independent, whatever. And instead have always felt that when the time is right, when the time is pregnant, that the people, that if the parade is big enough marching down the street, a politician will emerge who will jump in front of the parade and lift the flag and say, this is my parade. And if they're at all competent, history will record them as the great leader who made it happen. And yet, when you first came on the scene and started running for the Seattle City Council, and we had you on this program, and there was, conventional wisdom was it was a real long shot. You were unabashedly saying these things, socialist alternative and minimum wage and all these things, and you are perceived as a great leader now. as as fulfilling the great man, or in this case, great woman theory of history. I'm curious your thoughts on that.
I really appreciate you asking this question, Tom. I think it's a very important question, and probably a lot of people on the left are reflecting on that themselves, especially young people who are just moving into political activism, and it's very important for us to be clear. And I think the conundrum arises from, the distinction between different types of leadership, or what is called leadership under capitalism. So the example that you gave of a corporate politician who sees which way the wind is blowing, the workers and all the grassroots activists build the movement, and then typically it's the Democratic Party person, somebody comes up, picks up the flag and takes the credit. I think that sort of false leadership is always damaging, and I think the skepticism with which you and others are viewing, and I myself included, with which we view that, is important. It is important to be completely distrusting and actually rejecting that kind of false leadership, which really is not leadership but co-opting the movement. Mm-hmm. But what's happened here, and I feel somewhat awkward because, in a way I'm talking about myself, but really just in the abstract, the leaders that emerge from a genuine grassroots movement, a movement that is genuinely fighting for social justice, mm-hmm. those leaders are created by the movement. The movement creates the leaders it needs, just like the capitalist system creates its own spokespeople in order to survive itself.
Right.
So we have to, the false leaders that the exploitative system creates have to be countered by our genuine leaders. But our leadership emerges from the strength
from the movement.
Of the grassroots movement.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what I was.
And most importantly, our leadership is accountable to the movement.
Yeah, I think that's what actually I was trying to say. You've recalibrated it slightly for me. Thank you. That's brilliant and insightful. Hang on just a second. We're going to get stepped on here.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
Kshama Sawant, thanks so much for being with us, and thanks for the great work you do.
Thank you so much, Tom.
It's a pleasure and an honor always to talk to you.